Today, I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to cook a steak. You got to have a cast iron skillet and an oven. So the first thing you're going to do, set this thing to 450. After the oven has preheated, we'll take the next step. Now that that oven is fully preheated to 450, you're going to put that iron skillet on a burner on high, throw in about 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter. Now that the butter is all heated up and bubbling like this, you're going to throw your steak on there. Right here I got a 11-ounce ribeye. This works well with New York strip or even a cheap chuck steak. Don't matter. We're going to let that sit like that for about 15 to 20 seconds. So we've had this steak in this hot sizzling butter in an iron skillet on a burner turned to high for about 20 seconds. Okay, now we're going to flip this thing over. The sear on it might not be perfect, but it's got a pretty good little sear on it. Okay, now we're immediately going to throw this straight into that oven at 450, and we're going to set a timer. Now, if your steak is, say, 1.5 inches thick, you're going to want your timer for about 7 or 8 minutes. Since the one I got right here is just under an inch, like 3/4 of an inch to an inch, we're going to go for about 4 to 6 minutes. All right, now that timer's gone off, we're going to pull this bad boy out of the oven. Immediately get that sucker off of that pan onto your plate. Okay, make sure to use a hot pad because these cast iron skillets will burn you. Now dump all those juices right there on top of the steak. Okay, now we're going to put a lid on that and just let that rest for about 10 minutes. So it sat and rested under that lid for about 10 minutes. I cut it open. And some of you are going to look at that and say, that's perfect. For me, that's actually slightly overcooked. I would like it a little more rare than that. I think this time, because the steak is so thin, I think I left it in the oven for about a minute too long. But that is still going to be delicious. And I forgot to mention, the butter I used was a rosemary and garlic butter. So like you can see little bits of the herbs there in the butter. That's it. Dinner's ready.